Before we decided to live on a boat, this was the plan.
The kitchen is upside down.
To quit my job, buy a 50-foot boat and escape Australia's COVID lockdowns.
You can get into New South Wales.
Did you want minestrone or chicken and corn?
And with just 3 weeks sailing experience,
The trick is to go, where's the wind, what's it doing, how's it going to affect our boat?
we plan to sail our new floating home Tucana through the Bass Strait and more than 1,500 nautical miles from Melbourne to the Great Barrier Reef. And we did it. With an awkward TV appearance along the way.
Stina and John say they're living the dream. They've turned their backs on lockdown and now their life looks like a never-ending holiday.
But over 27 episodes
What the actual heck?
and more than 60,000 legends later, we're up for a new adventure.
Take 2. We are giving it another crack.
And we're heading north.
We have literally arrived to paradise. Look at this place.
Way north. So, let's start season 2 and let the journey north begin. So we're starting season 2 here in the Whitsundays. It's in the central coast of Queensland, Australia, and it's the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef, made up of more than 900 islands. It has a coastline spanning 3,700 nautical miles. So, where to first?
We're expecting around 25 knot winds for a constant 3 days. Whenever we have had bad weather here in the Whitsundays, we've always just gone to Syd Harbour. We have a really good hold there.
And that's because the swell and the winds are reduced thanks to its surrounding islands, creating protection against bad weather.
This time we're like, oh, we'll just go to Syd Harbour again. And then John and I just looked at each other and we're like, nah.
En route, we changed our mind, deciding to take you somewhere truly Australian instead.
And we thought, bugger it, let's go to Magnetics.
Because that's how all good decisions are made. Spare in the moment.
So for the next 24 hours, we're sailing 130 nautical miles to this island covered in koalas, beaches, and granite boulders the size of houses. Its landscape began developing 275 million years ago, when molten granite was pushed to the Earth's surface with volcanic force.
It is so pretty.
And over time, the rocks weathered away, creating its extraordinary landscape we're showing you later in this episode after our epic sail.
We got both sails up. We should be in Magnetic tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night I'd say. And I'm adamant not to use the engine. As a trim. What say ye? What say ye? Good?
Oh, I think so.
Saw you paint a picture of a face.
So beautiful tonight. I'm so glad we made this decision.
Adamant to sail using just the wind, the engine is off. And so we're going just 3 knots right now. So the ride is smooth, and you'd think it would be perfect conditions for any master chef trying to work in the galley while underway, right?
We usually never have steak.
And usually at all times during passages, either John or I have to be
I
on
put
watch.
cayenne pepper on it. It's actually taking my breath away.
It's just one of those safety requirements.
This is my one, bro.
1 mil down, we're hoping to catch another.
Good friend of ours, Henry, sold his boat the other day after many adventures.
We said goodbye to Henry, didn't we, just this morning?
It's been amazing.
I know when you guys go.
Thanks, Henry.
As he was clearing out his boat, he gave us his lure collection.
Fortunate enough to acquire his lucky lure, which we've aptly named Henry II. He's going to go for a swim.
We've heard the red-tipped lures, the best ones.
Have you found this to be true
Godspeed.
or false? By 5 p.m, it was dinner time.
Wow. Is this for both of us?
No, just you.
Okay, so we just dodged the no fishing areas too. You see that?
No, it's good.
And as the sun began to set,
So pretty.
that bad weather was too etching closer to us. But in this moment, you wouldn't know it.
Well, that was nice dinner.
It's fantastic.
getting yourself comfortable, setting up our bed.
You don't have to sleep up top.
Oh, that's nice of you. Thanks, babe. Poor John, he has a bit of a headache.
Because John's not feeling well, I'm taking one for the team. Getting comfortable in the cockpit for night watch. One of my favourite things about night sailing, and if you have a boat or you like camping, I'm sure you felt this feeling before. When you look up at the stars and you remember just how small we are as individuals in this huge universe. And then in that moment, all your worries just seem to disappear. I love that feeling.
We are going a nice, calm, breezy 3 knots. Winds are really fluky, coming right up our backside. Good morning.
Morning.
Going into a fishing zone.
Henry had a bite.
Getting closer to Magnetic Island, around 18 hours in, the fish start biting.
We caught a fish! What is that? Oh, it just broke the line.
Oh god.
I was not happy.
So this is the miserable, drizzly weather we were talking about. Winds are going to be up to about 30 knots. We're only about an hour and a half away now from Magnetic Island. We did it!
Now we just had to find a spot in the crowded bay. So we anchored right up the back and sat out the weather.
How many knots is it, John?
And that's when we noticed
Pretty wild.
a few boats around us
Whoa.
were getting caught out.
Who's dragging?
The right of us.
Oh. Oh my god. They are too. He's motoring away. Do we need to do anything?
Well, this dude looks like they're dragging too. These guys are dragging too.
Oh yeah, they are.
Doesn't look good.
Oh yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
Everyone's dragging.
It would be pretty difficult. I would almost just find another spot now.
Yeah, but this is also why I wanted to be out here, because if we're in there and someone drags, they'll just clean you all up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll just stand here. Hold it.
But to be completely honest, we were a little nervous about our new snubber. John made it a couple of days ago and it's never been under this much load before.
I've got like a Y splice here to share the load over these two. That'll stop that annoying rubbing sound and chafe on the rope as it rubs on the front of the bow roller. See, the snubber's way longer now as well.
It's really long, John.
Long John!
This got me thinking, why are they actually called Long Johns? Well, they're named after a boxer from the 19th century, John L. Sullivan, and they were his attire in the boxing ring. So people called them John L's, which turned into Long Johns. Oh, and the snubber. Well, it held up. And now that the sun is shining, it's time to explore this magnetic island with our second form of transport. You see, if Tucana is our house, then our tender is our car.
Ready?
So we have to first get it off the bow. Usually we use the electric winch, but sometimes we use the manual winch for exercise. Now we can take advantage of the bow and get going. Apparently in 1770, when Captain Cook passed this island, there was a magnetic effect on the ship's compass, hence the island's name, Magnetic Island. This place was also a hugely important base in World War II because of its sweeping views from its mountain peaks.
I've actually pooped. We're almost there. You can see it just up in the distance. Soldiers actually manned this fort back in World War II, about 1943 to 1945. They were actually here protecting Townsville because there is around 300 degree views up here. That would have been quite an effort to protect Australia, huh? Like a massive responsibility.
It's like a store here for the guns. This is for the shooting, right? Bullets, so they don't come in.
More than 50% of the island is national park.
John's bag weighs about 10 kilos. He brought with him his massive lens just so he could get a shot of a koala in the wild.
Not for me, for all of you guys, all you ungrateful sons of bitches. Give us a like and subscribe, or I won't be carrying this lens anymore.
Let's transition to John's lens.
More than 300 koalas call this place home. It's been a long day, but there's still so much to see here. But for now, it's back to the boat, back to Turkana.
Poor John, he's got blisters.
I don't know if it's blisters or what it is, but my foot was feeling a little claustrophobic. It's much better now.
But for John, the blisters were the least of his worries.
John went to the bathroom and he has blocked the toilet.
I've just blown the fuse a few times, it's alright.
How did you block it, John?
Big nugs. Big nugs, big nugs.
He has been actually dreading this moment. I just want to say one thing.
People don't want to know about problem.
No, this has been the one thing that John has been dreading. The moment that the toilet...
Christina thinks it's a great idea to get a camera out.
John just doesn't want to fix the toilet. I'm just so glad that it was you that used the toilet last. That's the one thing that is the saving grace of this. He's not happy. He's not happy.
Season 2 off to a cracking start. Now, on the topic of oversharing, let's talk to you about the plan and where we're taking you over coming episodes. To give you a perspective, this is where we are now. We're in the state of Queensland, home to the big mango, the reef, and crocodiles. And the further north we go, there are more of them, and we're becoming further away from help. So our goal is to take you to a magical place called Lizard Island. It's a place that costs the rich and famous around $2,000 a night to stay, but for us boaties, it's free, as long as you can get out there.
So this morning I'm doing a little bit of route planning. I've taken it upon myself to draw a map of the Queensland coast. Also got here Cruising the Coral Coast by Alan Lucas, which is kind of like a Bible on board. I'm just marking up places that I think would really enjoy seeing as we make our way up the coast. I've never done any navigation in my life and I haven't taken an interest in it up until this point. I've really just laid the burden on John. I guess I should have taken a little bit more of an interest in this earlier. I just haven't, which is actually one of my regrets.
I write to you in poetry with my...
John takes planning ahead very seriously. This is what breakfast looks like.
John just doing some homework, some reading.
While Turkana is anchored at Horseshoe Bay, we're today walking to the most picturesque beach on the entire island. It's called Radical Bay. It's sort of remote and it feels untouched.
So those people just said they're gonna leave the beach to us. So it seems like no one else is here. Check that out. Holy smokes, this is nice. Amazing little spot. It took John and I about half an hour to walk here.
And watch nobody else see through me and all of my charades. I am not any less afraid.
I'm borderline unsafe trying to get back on the boat. You ready?
Honestly, look at Turkana.
Yeah. Alright, come on.
Whoa.
Watch out.
Oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Watch out because the thing will yank as well.
Being tossed around, I was getting seasick on board. So we decided to move, but we had to try and find a spot in this crowded bay first.
We've done the measurements, it should be alright.
Yeah.
The only time we're going to have problems is if the wind swings around.
And just when we marked a spot to relocate to, we learned a valuable lesson. Next week, we'll show you how to.
So we have a little bit of a problem.
And how not to.
Oh no, John, that does not sound good at all.
Use a stern anchor.
Yeah, I think it's stuck.
That's not coming out. Look at you, Mr. Piggy.
Stephen, I don't even want ice cream. It's not eating it because you wouldn't eat it.